Good evening. My name is Gentle Calhoun, and I'll be presenting the decorator pattern. First, we'll start out by identifying the category in which the decorator pattern falls into, which is the structural design pattern. The structural design pattern is said to ease the design by identifying a simple way to realize the relationships between the entities. Some of the advantages of using the decorator pattern include dynamically adding responsibility to an object. Also, it's an alternative for subclassing, for extending functionality, and also it's more flexible than inheritance. Some of the disadvantages, it could potentially result in many small objects in the design. So depending on the number of decorators you plan on using to decorate your concrete component, it could get really big. Also, decorators can complicate the process of instantiating the component. If you're not used to this style of programming, it probably could look confusing to you, or it could be hard to implement if you haven't seen it done before. Here we have a high-level UML diagram which shows the component interface at the top, and we have the concrete component and the decorator class both inheriting from the interface component, which the concrete component and the decorator class both inherit from the component interface, and they both have to implement the operation method. And as you can see in the decorator class, it holds a object of the concrete component called component, which the decorator would use to add functionality to the concrete component. And lastly, you see that the component interface has a relationship with the decorator class itself. Moving on to my example of the decorator pattern, I chose to model mine after having a planet that we can add features to, and the base or the core functionality of that planet would be orbiting the sun. So the interface planet, of course, has its member function to orbit the sun, and as we can see, the base planet and the decorator class planet options both inherit from that interface and will be implementing that orbit sun method. Just as in the other UML diagram, you see that we hold a object of base planet which the decorator class will use to add the extra functionality to the base planet. And right beneath the decorator class, we have our concrete decorator classes, which are the land option, rings option, and water option. So once this base planet has been instantiated, you can then add these different decorators to that planet, to that base planet, and give it some more features and functionality. And as well as you see, the interface planet has a relationship with planet options, which means every planet will have these options to add to its base planet. Lastly, some things to consider when implementing the decorator pattern. You will want to create a lowest common denominator interface that makes it easy for classes to be interchangeable. Also, you will want to create a second level base class to support the optional wrapper classes. And lastly, the core class and decorator class inherit from the LCD interface. These are some core things to consider when you're implementing the decorator pattern. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.